In 1994, legendary animation studio Klasky Csupo brought us a group of lovable monsters who warmed our hearts. Today we are taking a deep dive into their spooky cult classic about things that go bump in the night. Hey guys, I'm Joe with Channel Frederator, and right now we've got a real monster-sized list as we are counting down 107 facts about real monsters. Let's get started. Real Monsters was created by Gabor Csupo and Peter Gaffney. It was produced by Klasky Csupo, the animation studio behind Rugrats, The Wild Thornberrys, and Duckman. Klasky Csupo was created by Csupo and his graphic designer wife, ARLENE Klasky, in 1982. They got their big break in 1988 when they were hired to animate one-minute shorts called The Simpsons for The Tracey Ullman Show. After Rugrats became the top-rated cable kids show, Nickelodeon asked Klasky Csupo to create another series for them. At the time, Gabor Csupo's small children loved monsters, and as you know, there's no better way to get cool dad points than by launching a show based on what your kids are into. Real Monsters became the second Klasky Csupo production and the fifth Nicktoon. The series revolves around the adventures of little monsters. No, not Lady Gaga fans. The main characters are Icus, Oblina, and Crumb, students at a monster academy located under the town dump. Their headmaster Grumble sends them on scare assignments, where they have to travel to the surface world to terrify humans. According to writer and story editor Lawrence Levy, in the original pitch of the show, the monsters originally attended Monster Academy as a part of normal monster life. He added later the need for monsters to scare in order for the humans to believe in them, because if humans stopped believing in monsters, they would disappear. The show's setting is in New York City, as evidenced by landmarks such as the Empire State Building and the subway system. Of course, it's a fantasy version of the city. The only real monster in New York is Rent. Horrifying. The monster's subterranean home is supposedly located under Fresh Kills landfill on New York's Staten Island, because why wouldn't monsters want to live somewhere with the creepiest name ever? Co-creators Gabor Csupo and Peter Gaffney got their inspiration for Real Monsters after watching the Beatles animated movie Yellow Submarine. Grumble's character design is actually modeled after the Chief Blue Meanie from Yellow Submarine, and if you listen, you'll notice that they also sound a bit alike too. Both have smooth voices and speak properly. Grumble's name was Womble in the pilot episode, but that needed to be changed due to the fact that there was a stop-motion animated British series back in the 1970s called The Wombles. The second episode is almost an exact duplicate of the original pilot, which never aired, except for the fact that it had slightly improved graphics, and Womble was now Grumble. Real Monsters pilot episode won first prize for TV animation at the Houston Film Festival and the Ottawa Film Festival. Crumb's name was actually Slumbo in an early draft of the pilot script. That might have made for some good Slumbo as Grumbo memes, if memes existed back then. During the show's 5-year development process, it had the working titles Monsters and Real Monsters. Don't know about you, but we like the part. Csupo wanted to give the show a film noir look similar to the 1980s sci-fi films Brazil and Blade Runner. The show has also been described as having a sort of Eastern European folk art feel. Kinda makes sense since co-creator Gabor Csupo is Hungarian. The monsters weren't the only things on the show that had an odd appearance. If you take a close look, the trees look like fungus with hair. Executive producer ARLENE Klasky says that Klasky Csupo was always trying to make everything quirkier. They found beauty in what other people might think were ugly designs or ugly characters. Although it's technically a comedy show, many episodes contain genuinely scary moments. The monsters display their internal organs and find numerous other disturbingly nightmarish ways to freak out humans. Real Monsters was aimed at kids between the ages of 2 and 11, but the writing was actually quite sophisticated. Despite the scares and gross-out moments, the main theme of the show is friendship. Icus, Oblina, and Crumb are constantly learning that they can't reach their goals unless they work together. Aww. How sweet. Another central theme is self-improvement. You'll notice that a lot of the show's hijinks are based around the characters' desires to do well in their class and become better monsters in the process. At the end of the day, the show is really about 3 kids working their butts off towards their definition of success. That's a pretty great message to show to kids. Real Monsters lasted 4 seasons on Nickelodeon from 1994 to 1997. There were a total of 52 episodes. Co-creators Csupo and Gaffney only wrote for the first season of the show before moving moving on to other projects. The premiere episode, The Switching Hour, aired on October 29th and was holiday-themed. That holiday, of course, was Halloween. Some people compared the show to The Brothers Grunt, an animated series that had premiered around the same time on Nickelodeon's sister network, MTV. That show also had gross-looking monstrous characters, but Csupo pointed out that Aaahh! Real Monsters was story-driven, while The Brothers Grunt was idea-driven. The Brothers Grunt received low ratings and terrible reviews. It lasted about 7 months, and its creator, Danny Antonucci, called it MTV's dirty secret. So it's understandable why Csupo didn't want the two shows to be lumped together. Klasky Csupo was known for having an extremely collaborative environment. Their office was set up in a way that forced the voice actors to weave through the writers' and artist cubicles to get to the recording booth. The voice actors would be shown concept storyboards and have comedic scenarios explained to them. Then they'd put those elements together to create their performances. Animator Chris Battle claims that he drew inspiration for a lot of his character designs from looking at people around the office. I'm guessing there was a lot of exaggeration involved, or maybe he had on beer goggles. The three principal actors, Charlie Adler, Christine Cavanaugh, and David Eccles, recorded their lines together in the same studio, rather than separately, like some other animated productions do. Being in the same room allowed for a more organic interaction between their characters. During recording sessions, they were given free rein to play around with the scripts to see what happened. The fact that Ickis is shaped like a rabbit is as an inside joke to savvy viewers, who recalled that voice actor Charles Adler played the rabbit Buster Bunny in Tiny Toons. In addition to sharing the same American voice actor, Ickis and Buster Bunny are both played by the same Japanese voice actor, Ryusei Nakao. Charlie Adler also voiced Ed Bighead in Rocko's Modern Life. Maybe it's an inside joke, but Ickis sometimes says Bighead's catchphrase, "I hate my life." Oblina is played by Christine Cavanaugh, who was also the voice of Chucky in Rugrats, Dexter in Dexter's Laboratory, and Babe the Talking Pig in the 1995 live-action feature, Babe. When she turned down a chance to play Babe in the sequel, Babe, Pig in the City, Cavanaugh was replaced by E.G. Daly, who co-starred with her on Rugrats as the voice of Tommy. Crumb was voiced by David Eccles, who was also the voice of the monster under Tommy's bed in an episode of Rugrats. The original script described Crumb as having a slow, lethargic voice, which happens to be the way Eccles usually speaks. Perfect match. Eccles also played the Snorch, a huge, terrifying monster who was the Gromble's minion. Zimbo, a bee-like creature with a single bird's leg, is the Snorch's partner and serves as the Gromble's resident snitch. Zimbo was voiced by Tim Curry. It was only the second oddest creature he's played after his star turn as Frankenfurter in the cult classic The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Simon the Monster Hunter was voiced by Jim Belushi. According to Jim, and yes, the pun is intended, he's improvised a lot of the character's dialogue. The Grumble yells something different when he comes up from the floor during the opening credits of each episode. These Grumble gags are a recurring bit similar to the couch gag on The Simpsons. Klasky Csupo animated the first 3 seasons of The Simpsons, so they were basically paying homage to themselves. Hey, I would too. Time to check out a little more about our favorite scarers. First of all, these monsters eat garbage. No, not junk food, literal garbage. They find clean food repulsive. I guess that makes them trashitarians? They also must breathe polluted air because too much fresh can kill them. They use the sewer system to travel between their world and ours. In other words, they squeeze through pipes and emerge through people's toilets. And you thought Santa Claus got dirty when he slid down a chimney. Super Bowl Sunday is a big deal for the monsters. Not because they love football, but because millions of humans flush their toilets at the same time during a break in the game, causing a huge surge in sewer water. The monsters surf that stinky tsunami in a prestigious event called the annual Riding of the Great Wave competition. The monsters use toenails as currency, and you thought bitcoins were ridiculous. In the monster world, monsters can reproduce by touching fingertips, so everybody just keep their hands to themselves. Once a year, during the festival of the festering moon, all monsters shed their skin. Your hair-shedding puppy doesn't sound so bad now, does it? The monsters all have their own unique ways of scaring people. Ickis grows in size, his eyes turn red, and his teeth become fangs. He has to go to extreme measures to make up for the fact that he's often mistaken for a cute little bunny rabbit. Ickis' father, Slickus, is the most famous graduate of Monster Academy and is a legend in the scaring business. This gives Ickis self-esteem issues, as he's burdened by the need to live up to his father's legacy. When the monsters are hatching their schemes, Ickis is the first one to get scared because he is a big worrywart. Oblina is a shapeshifter who enjoys reaching into her mouth to pull out her guts to show them to people. And you thought it was bad when your friends texted you pics of their lunch. Oblina can give humans nightmares nightmares by sticking her finger in their ears and jiggling it around. She comes from a wealthy family. Her snooty mother wishes her daughter would give up on her dream of becoming a common scarer. Crumb can juggle his detached eyeballs or throw them at people. Sounds pretty gross, right? Well, even more disgusting is his body odor. Crumb wields his stinky armpits as his primary tool of terror. Crumb is often running into things because, well, he's clumsy. Hey, I'd like to see you try to be coordinated while carrying your eyeballs in your hands. When Crumb needs to use both of his hands, he holds his eyes in his mouth, which it also seems like it's a convenient way to check to see if you have any food in your teeth. Crumb is afraid of heights. See, monsters are just like us. Even they have phobias. Crumb's father, Horvath, is a muck farmer who only has one eye. He lost his other one during the Battle of Lexington in the Revolutionary War when a soldier mistook it for a musket ball and fired it from his rifle. Still, Horvath is just as cheerful as his son. Crumb and Horvath greet each other by kicking, because it's also hard to shake hands when you're holding your eyeballs. Crumb is actually smarter than he appears. He acts dumb on purpose because it puts less pressure on him. Although he was initially conceived as the main antagonist, Headmaster Gromble later became more of an anti-hero. The Gromble can be extremely tough on his students, often yelling at them and sometimes even eating them, though he spits them back out after literally chewing them out. The Gromble has a soft spot for Oblina, which makes sense since she is his best student. The show's main recurring villain was Simon the Monster Hunter, a human determined to prove the existence of monsters by capturing them. Lava lamps have the power to hypnotize monsters, and Simon, the Monster Hunter, has used them before to try and trap the monsters. Very ungroovy, man. The monsters have a human ally, a boy named Bradley. Bradley is scared of monsters the first couple of times we see him, but in the season 1 episode, Simon Strikes Back, he bonds with Ickis and helps him escape from Simon's clutches. When one of the monsters has a crush on somebody, it's called a squish. Can we please make that a trend? I'd rather be someone's squish than be someone's bae any day of the week. In the season 4 episode, She Likes Me, Oblina admits to Crumb that she has a squish on him. However, Crumb keeps her in the friend zone, sparing viewers from having to see two monsters making out. Ickis meets the girl of his dreams in the season 3 episode, Blind Love, Monster Love. Sadly, his squish turns out to be a Judy puppet from a Punch and Judy show. Snorch can only be understood by Zimbo, who acts as his translator. Although in the season 3 episode, I Heard the Snorch Call My Name, Snorch is temporarily given a voice box, and he's able to show off his intelligence and eloquence. Snorch is the school's disciplinarian. The students dread his punishments, which are known as snorching. His favorite form of torture is making them square dance, or listen to opera music. Two of the opera songs that Snorch and Zimbo sing as a punishment for Ickis, Crumb, and Oblina are Ah, the Sweet Mystery of Life and La Donna è Mobile. Oh, the horror. The Gromble wears red high-heel pumps on his 4 feet. He refers to these as his snuggle bears. It's hinted that the Gromble will eventually be succeeded by Ickis or Oblina. In the episode History of the Monster World, the Gromble educates his students about how monsters throughout history have positively affected the world through their scaring. For example, did you know that the wheel was invented so that people could ride it away from scary monsters? Well, if you ever graduated from Monster Academy, you would. In the season 4 episode, Battle of the Century, we learn that Simon the Monster Hunter's full name, which is written on his expired driver's license, is, wait for it, Simon D. Hunter. Get it? It's true what they say. Your name influences your destiny. That's why my birth certificate says Joe 107 Fact Smith. In the season 2 episode, Bigfoot Don't Fail Me Now, Simon actually captures one of the most legendary monsters of all, Bigfoot of course. However, Simon ruins his moment of triumph by falling into the same trap as every James Bond villain and giving a speech so long and rambling that Bigfoot is able to escape. As if the stars of the show weren't creepy enough, there were also monster babies called Bonsties that terrified monsters because they tried to eat them. Though they only appeared in 2 episodes, they surely guest starred in hundreds of viewers' nightmares. The monsters in the show have really long lifespans. Although the Monster Academy students are supposed to be kids, some of them are at least 200 years old. The Gromble's age is confusing. In the season 1 episode, Old Monster, and the season 3 episode, Out of the Past, he's shown as a rookie monster during the 1920s. But in the season 2 episode, History of the Monster World, he's already headmaster during the Revolutionary War. And in the season 3 episode, The Substitute, Gromble has been teaching for 300 years. Hey, this is a show about monsters, not a math quiz. Let's move on. Gromble bans his students from consuming human culture. which of course makes them more attracted to it. Reverse psychology 101, people. Halloween is the only time of year when monsters can freely mingle with humans. Of course, that can lead to confusion when the humans dress up like monsters, as proven in the very first episode, The Switching Hour, when a kid puts on an AKIRA costume. The Grumble reviews his students' scares by strapping them to a viewfinder. In the Season 2 episode, Rosh O Monster, the viewfinder stops working and AKIRA, Oblina, and Crumb have to give an oral report on how their assignment went. They all tell completely different versions of the same event. As the punny title implies, this is a parody of Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa's cinematic classic Rashomon. Real Monsters has often been compared to Pixar's 2001 film Monsters, Inc. Both productions share the similar concept of young monsters attending a monster school and learning how to scare humans. However, the monsters have different motivations for scaring us in each property. In Monsters, Inc., the monsters derive energy from human screams, while in Real Monsters, they scare us to maintain a balance between the monster world and the human world. Still, it would be fun to see AKIRA, Oblina, and Crumb make a cameo in the next Monsters, Inc. film. Get on that, Hollywood. Also, in Monsters, Inc., the monsters live in a parallel dimension and travel through wormholes, while in Real Monsters, they're in our world and coming through our toilets. AKIRA, Oblina, and Crumb made their final appearance 5 years after the series ended, when they made cameos in the Rugrats Season 6 episode, Ghost Story. The show's quirky character designs have spawned numerous memes. Even if you've never watched an episode, you might recognize Crumb from those memes, like this one featuring his pit hair odor. I guess old shows can make it to the meme world. During the show's second season, Mattel came out with a line of toys called Real Monsters Dare to Scare. In addition to these 4 main characters, the toys included water-squirting creatures like Poomps, Splug, and Snarfle. In 1995, Fleer released a line of Real Monsters trading cards. Did you collect them? In a case of art imitating life, the 1996 episode Slumber Scare shows AKIRA and Crumb trading monster cards. And Real Monsters video game for the Sega Genesis and the Super NES was released in 1995. AKIRA also appears in video game form as one of the racers in Nicktoons Racing, a Mario Kart copycat which came out in 2000. Characters from the show also appeared in the game Nicktoons MLB, but only on the loading screen. At the 2017 London Toy Fair, Funko announced a new line of pop animation figures featuring fan-favorite 90s Nicktoon characters, including the Rugrats, CatDog, and yep, you guessed it, your favorite freaks Crumb, Oblina, and AKIRA. There have been online rumors about Klasky Csupo beginning production on an Real Monsters movie in 1998 after the show was cancelled. The online discussions mentioned that those plans were scrapped due to fears that the script was too dark for children. However, nothing has ever been confirmed. Since then, rumors have been circulating around the internet that people have seen parts of the unfinished film. But again, like Real Monsters themselves, there's been no confirmed evidence of this footage. Perhaps this is a job for Simon the Monster Hunter. In 2016, it was announced that Paramount Pictures was teaming up with Nickelodeon to make a Nicktoons movie featuring characters from Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, The Angry Beavers, and Real Monsters. Napoleon Dynamite writer and director Jared Hess was attached. If it sounds too good to be true, it might be. So far, there haven't been any updates indicating that production has made any progress. You can still watch Real Monsters on television by tuning in to Teen Nick's Nick Splat Block, which airs reruns of classic Nickelodeon shows. The complete series became available on DVD in 2013. Binge away! Once again, I'm Joe, and thanks for watching 107 Facts About Real Monsters. Who's your favorite monster? How would you scare your humans? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to click the bell icon to become part of the notification squad. We have videos dropping every day, so make sure to subscribe. Cause remember, Frederator loves you.